Under the relentless Apulian sun, the plain bakes, awaiting the march of Roman legionaries. Dust rises as the legionaries advance, their armor glinting. A disciplined force against the harsh landscape. Heat shimmers above the ranks, a visual testament to the arduous journey ahead. Each step echoes with anticipation, the distant river a beacon of hope in the sweltering heat. The air vibrates with expectation as the legionaries push towards the Aufidus River. Their eyes are fixed on the horizon, a silent promise of endurance and conquest under the scorching sun. Flickering torchlight dances across the war tent, illuminating the brewing storm between consuls Paulus and Varro. Paulus gestures with a scroll, his grave expression foreshadowing dire warnings. Varro slams his fist on the war table, scattering maps and tokens, a violent eruption of defiance. We must proceed with caution. The terrain favors Hannibal. A hasty attack would be suicidal, Paulus warns, his voice echoing with concern. Varro's explosive retort shatters the tense silence. Caution! We have the numbers. We will crush them. I say we attack now, while we have the advantage, Varro declares, his eyes blazing with battle lust. Hannibal stands tall on a small rise, his presence commanding the sprawling Carthaginian camp below. A tapestry of warriors unfolds. Gauls, Spaniards, and African veterans ready for war. The sun blazes across the camp, igniting their diverse armaments with a fierce, golden light. Hannibal raises a hand, cutting through the camp's murmur, his charisma silencing the masses. Rousing speech details not provided. Across the expansive Apulian plain, the Carthaginian army gathers, a formidable force ready for battle. Their ranks form a thin crescent, poised and strategic. Gauls and Spaniards command the center, their expressions a blend of anticipation and resolve. The elite African infantry anchors the flanks, a bulwark of unwavering strength. Each soldier stands firm, an embodiment of the Carthaginian army's might. Across the Apulian plain, the Roman legions advance, an inexorable tide of iron. Sunlight glints off their shields, transforming them into a moving fortress. Each step resonates with the weight of their ambition, shaking the very earth. Their shields lock, forming an impenetrable wall of defense and aggression. The relentless advance continues, an unstoppable testament to Roman might. The Apulian plain becomes a stage for war, as the Roman juggernaut clashes violently with the Carthaginian center. Gauls and Spaniards, pressed beyond their limits, begin to yield, their line buckling under the relentless assault. The Carthaginian line bends inward, each soldier fighting to hold their ground against the overwhelming Roman force. The relentless pressure of the Roman juggernaut transforms the battlefield into a scene of desperate struggle and slow defeat for the Carthaginian center. Across the Apulian plain, Roman soldiers advance, their initial triumph soon giving way to the harsh realities of close-quarters combat. The tight formation of soldiers becomes a hindrance, their mobility compromised by the increasing density of bodies. Dust rises from the parched earth, obscuring the battlefield as the sounds of battle intensify. Amidst the chaos, the cries of soldiers echo across the plain, a symphony of the brutal cost of victory. Hannibal surveys the vast Apulian plain from a distant hilltop, a silent observer of the impending storm. As the clash intensifies, a grim smile curls Hannibal's lips, relishing the unfolding chaos. With a decisive gesture, Hannibal raises his hand, signaling his African infantry to unleash their fury. The African infantry pivots sharply, poised to strike the Roman flanks with deadly precision. The Apulian plain stretches, silent and still before the storm. African infantry surges forward, their movements precise and deadly. They strike the Roman flanks with overwhelming force. Roman soldiers reel, their formation buckling under the sudden assault. The Roman army is encircled, the noose tightening around them. Trapped and desperate, the Roman army faces its grim fate. Across the Apulian plain, the Numidian and Spanish cavalry celebrate their triumph, their horses kicking up dust. The cavalry wheels, a storm of hooves and steel as they prepare to strike again. They thunder towards the Roman rear, the ground trembling beneath their charge. The cavalry slams into the Roman infantry, completing the encirclement. Trapped, the Roman infantry brace for the inevitable onslaught, their fate sealed in the dust and chaos. Chaos erupts on the Apulian plain as Roman soldiers realize they are ensnared, their hopes turning to dread. A desperate surge ripples through the legion as soldiers struggle against the crushing throng, each breath a battle. Arms flail uselessly as men are swallowed by the mass, their cries for escape lost in the din of impending doom. The weight of despair settles as the trap tightens, the once proud army now a sea of faces consumed by terror. On the Apulian plain, the Carthaginian army advances, an implacable tide of destruction. Roman soldiers, encircled, face their grim fate as the Carthaginian army closes in. Dust and blood mix on the plain, painting a macabre tableau of war. Steel clashes against steel, a deadly symphony echoing across the battlefield. The sun beats down on the carnage, an indifferent witness to the brutal end. The Apulian plain becomes a stage for carnage as Consul Paulus, his armor stained crimson, fights amid the chaos. His strength fails, and he stumbles, his fall mirroring the collapse of Roman might on this fateful day. He collapses onto the blood-soaked earth. Horror dawns in his eyes, reflecting the crushing weight of defeat. The despair of a nation echoes in his gaze. He succumbs to the darkness, the battle lost, the republic teetering. The Apulian plain becomes a stage for merciless slaughter under the unforgiving sun. Trapped and desperate, Roman soldiers fall one after another, their fates sealed in the relentless onslaught. The cries of the dying rise like a mournful chorus, a haunting symphony echoing across the vast plain. The ground turns crimson as the relentless butchery claims its victims, their final moments marked by agony and despair. The Apulian plain at dusk, a canvas painted with the hues of defeat. 50,000 Roman soldiers lie still, their bodies strewn across the ravaged earth. Broken limbs and shattered armor gleam in the fading light, a testament to brutal conflict. The silence of death blankets the plain, a stark contrast to the clamor of battle that once echoed here. Under the cloak of night, Hannibal gazes upon the Apulian plain. His eyes mirror the battlefield's grim tableau, a somber reflection. Tactical brilliance achieved, yet the heavy toll echoes in the air. A lone wolf's howl pierces the night, a mournful symphony to victory's cost.